from Bashkortostan. I'm curious about how do you assess the sort of change of definition from nation state to political identity? And when I say this, I'm thinking of both Ukraine and Taiwan. As you know, in Taiwan, we have revisited sort of what it means to be Taiwanese, including, indigenous people, different speakers of different languages, the colonial part from Japan. And in Ukraine, there is also sort of state project to redefine Ukrainian identity, not always linked to necessarily ethnicity or Ukrainian language, but for example, including Crimean Tatars. So I'm curious in what I'm sure you're monitoring, for example, in the Bashkir sort of discourse on how to define an independent Bashkir state, to what extent there are, I would say, healthy conversations that would say we need to redefine our identity and not completely link it necessarily to Bashkir ethnicity and language, but of course in an independent Bashkir state there will also be people of different nationalities, different religions, and to what extent those discourses happen or not. Thank you.
That's a difficult discourse to have, and unfortunately it's not happening to such an extent that it should be. And as a person of mixed heritage, I personally know how difficult this conversation could be, because you need to, as in many other Russian regions, the population in Bashkortostan is very mixed. It's a result of forced resettlement. And so we have Bashkir people, we have Tatar people, we have people of mixed marriages, and we have people who were forced to move into this region regardless of their ethnicity. And at the moment, these ruptures between different peoples are quite huge and visible. For me, as a person of half Bashkir, half Tatar with a Russian name and surname, that was a big difficulty even when back in my school and university years to kind of associate myself with any of the groups. And so, but that's the problem, that the reason why those discussions are not happening is exactly because Russia doesn't want them to happen. And so I'm not sure who should initiate those discussions, because as a colonized nation, Bashkir people do need to decolonize themselves and decolonize their mindset. And that's a little bit difficult to do when you're still in the region. So I'm not sure if those discussions should start from within, by Bashkir people living abroad who have access to more information and who understand the process of colonization and decolonization better to a certain extent,